What is going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. Today we are going to be taking an in-depth look at Pixio's latest offering with the PX325c FreeSync monitor, which is currently retailing at $349 over on Amazon. The display stands at a staggering 32 inches with a curved 1920 by 1080 Sva panel and 144 Hz refresh rate. With this being a FreeSync monitor, having a good operating range is important, and this one here is pretty decent, with FreeSync working between 59 and 144 frames per second. Pixio also actually offers a 24-inch version that's nearly identical to this, named the PX245c, that I'm currently running a giveaway for, and I'll be sure to link to that down in the description below. You still have some time to enter, as I will be announcing the winner on August 8th. I did an extensive amount of gaming on this monitor here in titles like Rainbow Six Siege and Overwatch using an RX 580, and gameplay always remains smooth and responsive with no stuttering or tearing that would be normally introduced with something like VSync, and we can thank AMD's FreeSync technology for that one. With this being a high refresh rate monitor, I of course had to check it for any frame skipping, and there was zero present. Not a single frame was skipped in the test that I ran and played back here in slow motion for you after recording it at 60 frames per second, and that is what I like to see. As previously mentioned, this is an Sva panel, which is basically Samsung's branded naming for a PVA panel, or patterned vertical alignment. What that tells us is that you could expect good colors and deep blacks thanks to the 3,000:1 contrast ratio. I could say that from my testing this holds up quite well, and it had some of the best blacks that I've seen on a non-HDR or OLED display. There was also no discernible backlight plating that I could see at the desktop or when gaming. When snapping photos at 1/400th shutter speed, there were very subtle hotspots towards the bottom, but as I said, they weren't noticeable in normal operation or even when I put up an all-black screen. White uniformity was also terrific across the entire display. There was no gray or dark areas when getting close to the edges that can show up on some cheaper panels, but that simply wasn't the case here. Samsung definitely made a quality panel with this one, and Pixio did a bang-up job on choosing it. I also did tests for things like gradient and color banding, and it passed those with flying colors, pun intended. As far as response time, it has a 4 millisecond response time with overdrive enabled, which I was using, and I couldn't notice any pronounced amount of ghosting when I was gaming or anything like that, so 4 milliseconds is something I've become used to using IPS gaming displays, and it's honestly perfectly fine for that use. With performance out of the way though, let's discuss the design on the PX325c. As you can see, Pixio has gone for a matte black design on the entire monitor, which is so greatly appreciated. I remember reviewing their PX277 a year ago, which had a great panel just like this one here, but it fell short on its design with its thick glossy bezels and a glaring red logo on the front of the monitor. It appears that Pixio has taken feedback on that though and applied it to all of their new monitors here in 2017. We have fairly thin bezels here for a 32-inch monitor, and gone is the huge red logo in the front, opting to put the monitor's only branding on the back side, which is also matte and not glossy. The only insignia on the front is a subtle dark gray lettering for the model number, which doesn't stand out too much at all. Menu navigation on here was not the best, as it's just a basic button layout and on-screen display. Perhaps for next year's monitors, Pixio can look at implementing a joystick design, which is just much easier to use with getting around in the menus. For connectivity around the back, we've got DVI, HDMI, DisplayPort, and audio in. The monitor did come with a DisplayPort cable, which is nice, as you will need that to take advantage of FreeSync. And there's also a cover that you can use to hide everything if you like, but I honestly just left this off, as once my cables were all situated, I just kind of found it easier to get access to them if I didn't use the cover. Last but certainly not least is the stand, which looks really nice, honestly, but it's lacking quite a bit in terms of functionality, only offering the ability to tilt. Thankfully though, Pixio did send me over their PX400 stand that retails for $60, and it can mount to any monitor with VESA support for 100 by 100 or 75 by 75 VESA mounts. Since the PX325c has a 100 by 100 VESA mount, I installed the PX400 in just a couple of minutes, and now it can tilt, swivel, pivot, and have height adjust. I did notice an option on Amazon for this monitor to get it with the stand that saves you $10, but anyone can buy the stand even if it's not for a Pixio monitor. Just make sure that your monitor has the appropriate VESA compatibility on the back. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this review on the Pixio PX325c. I would definitely recommend this monitor to anyone interested in picking it up. One of my concerns going into it was that 32 inches was going to be too big for 1080p, but it was honestly very nice to use for the desktop browsing as well as gaming. I'd be lying honestly if I were to say that I didn't wish it was 1440p or even better yet, a 4K option, as I think those resolutions would lend themselves really well to a display this size, but 1080p was still very good, and it's certainly easier to drive as far as gaming performance is concerned when compared to those higher resolutions. So I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. If you want links to the monitor, stand, or where you can enter into that giveaway to win the 24-inch version of this monitor, I'll leave links to all of them down in the description below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like on it and subscribe if you're not already. And if you have been here for a while, you can always ring the notification bell so you'll know whenever I upload new videos like this one. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ta-ra.